Oh shit, I'm already streaming. Hey, hello, it's me, Felix, and I'm back with some Limbus company. Because I felt like it. And I'm still experimenting with different teams to see which one I want to use. I'm feeling like I want to do a Kurokumo team because I like Kurokumo Ishmael. So that's basically just Kurokumo with some bleed stuff. I'm not really sure if I want to use any Blood Fiends because I only have the manager done. And they usually don't really work well unless you have them all together.
식사? 아이, 뭐, 이 시간에 나와 있는 걸로도 짜증나니까.
Okay. Someone is really loudly honking somewhere. Oh wait, hold up. Hold up. First I actually want to see what kind of bleed identities I have available at the moment, and I can do that in a mirror dungeon. We'll just go to all and see, actually. Jesus, why is someone being so fucking loud? It's not their fault, they're not gonna know that I'm streaming, but it's still really annoying. I also tried out the Liu, or the, not the Liu, the Shi association identities just because I was curious. But I also know that at least Optai Heathcliff, and it costs only 30, okay, that's actually not bad, but Optai Heathcliff gets a lot better at Optai 3 from what I remember. Yeah, his thresholds get increased to 50%, which is a lot better. He gains points. Yeah, no, this is a lot better. This is a lot better. Alright, well, it wouldn't be that hard to get the Shi up if it only costs 30 fragments. I thought it was 100, but it seems that's only for level 3 identities. And then that's 20, okay. Could probably also uptie all the basic sinners to uptie 4 if I really wanted to. I never really used them, but might be worth it just to have that done. But that would cost a crap ton of fragments, and I don't really know if it's worth it to uptie anything that I'm not 100% sure I'm gonna use. Alright, let's see. I need to find a bunch of identities with bleed to support the Kurokumo. Or slash. That would also work because Kurokumo has a lot of slash. So either identities that improve slash or identities that make bleed stronger. Hey Hermit, what's up? I'm just trying to figure out a new team to test out. I'm thinking of going for a Kurokumo team with some bleed support. The one thing I'm not entirely sure about is if this Mursal passive, one family, the one ally with the least SP heals 10 SP at the turn end if there's another ally from the same faction. If this works only with the middle or if this works with every faction, because this would be a pretty decent passive. I do know how things be going. But yeah, what do you think? Oh, every faction, okay, well that's good to know. Those are some really easy parameters then. That could maybe work decently with N-Corp Claire and N-Corp Faust then as well. Even though I'm not really sure if I would want them. Because as much as they're good identities, they're all weak to slash. And that's the one damage type that my enemy is gonna have. true. Let's see. I could just use them for the passive. That is something I could be doing. At the start of the combat phase, heal one ally with the least SP for 50 SP. If the allies... Yeah. Honestly, yeah. These are pretty easy to get. And they're decent bleed identities. They're not the worst bleed identities. Alright, so let's actually first just grab the identities we definitely are gonna use, which is Kurakumo Ishmael, Kurakumo Heathcliff. I would have probably gone for Ting Tang Yisong. No, not Ting Tang Honglu, I'm sorry. I would have probably gone for Ting Tang Honglu if I had him, but I don't. So my best bet is Kurakumo Clan Honglu. He's both strong against Slash, and as much as he doesn't really work in a bleed team, he's still not a bad identity. Let's see. Any other identities that could fit well in a bleed team that I would definitely want? Because I need at least 7 main identities, right? Let's see. Bleed. What kind of passives do you have? I wouldn't want you to be in the main team because again you're weak to Slash, but you might have decent passives. One ally with the lowest max HP gains blunt damage up. If that was Slash damage up, that would be great, but none of my guys are gonna have Slash blunt. Could go less for extra skill slots, especially if you want to dodge through unbreakables. I'm not really sure if I would want to go for that. Again, I really dislike that Kurakumo Ryushi is weak to Slash. Her passive is alright though. I have a bunch of them that I'm thinking, yeah, it's alright, the passive is alright though, but I wouldn't want them on the field, which is kinda annoying. I don't really have many choices. A lot of the decent bleed identities I actually do have end up being on the same person. Yeah, I have La Mancha Don Quixote, but I feel like she doesn't really work all that well unless I have different blood fiends. On hit with the... Cool art though. On hit with this skill, heals 30% of the HP damage dealt, max 10. On use, consume up to 50 blood feast. You're gonna wanna look for lost rest, that's true. Yeah, I want a lot of lost rest, just regardless. Alright, well, let's see if we can find any of them that have lost. Okay, so these are our bleed identities with lost. That's still a decent amount of them. I honestly don't think we're gonna get any better than N-Corp Faust and then maybe N-Corp Sinclair. I'm gonna just quickly see what his passives be. Heals 50 less SP from winning a clash or defeating an enemy. One ally with the least SP, 10 blunt damage. If said ally, yeah, well, again, not really gonna have much blunt damage there. You for making KK Ishmael defensive skill loss based. Yeah, I'm planning to uptie everybody that I'm gonna use here to at least uptie 4. It's just that I really want to be careful because I don't want to waste my fragments. I don't get that many. Also, I think Faust is, even with her weakness to Slash, would still be a good choice here. So we'll take her. Honestly, another Kurakumo is probably our best bet. The only alternative that I could possibly see is to have Chef Ryushi in there, but I don't have Chef Ryushi. Yeah. It's kind of sad how little bleed stuff I actually have. Yeah, this one isn't that great. True enough. Let's see if we can find some that aren't focused on bleed. Let's see. I do want the passives to at least be semi-useful. Okay, so honestly, I think that RB sous chef Gregor isn't a bad choice. He's both strong against slash, and as long as I don't clash with him, his constant paralysis could be useful. He also has lost, which is just good. We got a bunch of tremor. Does Don Quixote have lost? Oh, yeah, you do. You do. Honestly, as much as I don't think Don Quixote gels too well with the Kurakumo team, she's probably still my best bet, except for maybe Dawn Middle. But that's literally only because she applies bleed. And she gives slightly more blunt damage, which I guess if I were to add N-Corp St. Clair, the one who grips, he does a lot of blunt damage if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so I guess those could work well. I guess that's my best bet here. But you barely do any bleed from what I remember. Don't think Fnatic counts as bleed. Yeah, you have like 2... Okay, it does work with bleed though. But you're fatal to slash. Why are all my fucking identities fatal to slash? So annoying. Yeah, I'm not gonna go for that. I'm saving everything for the Arknight collapse, so it doesn't really work. Yeah, but does she actually work with any of my team? One ally with the highest aggro skill slot heals 2 HP every time they hit an enemy. That targets this unit does not apply to unit without aggro. Guess. Maybe I just have to accept that a lot of this ain't gonna be perfect. Okay, well okay, so honestly Warp Ryushi might be a decent one. Her passives ain't gonna do shit, but... But overall, she has slash damage, and she has lost. I highly doubt I have Sun Ego. Y'all need to remember that I barely have anything. I don't buy the season pass. Remember that. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, then I would. Okay, let's see. Whom else do I have to go for? Okay, so I don't have anything for Yi Seng yet. I do. No, oh, I didn't grab the Mersault one. That's surprising. I did not grab a Mersault one. Don't think Rupture is gonna be super useful. No. I'm just gonna read through La Manche Dawn because she is still a decent bleed ID. On hit with this skill, heal 30 of the consume up to 50 blood feast and gain 1 hard blood for every 5 blood feast. This unit consumes. If this unit fails to consume blood feast, gain 5 bleed. If the target has +6 bleed, coin tower power +1. I don't know. Am I gonna be able to actually gain enough blood feast, or will I just always get this bleed? That's the biggest worry I have with this. I just don't feel like I'm gonna have enough. Alright, I'm just gonna pick her. It's between her and Middle Dawn anyway, if we're gonna go with any sort of Steam synergy, so I suppose it's not the worst. Guess we can just do... Don't think we have a better Sinclair here, unless... Do you have a decent passive? Your Tremor ID... Okay, I guess that's not bad. That is not the worst, actually. That's not a bad passive. I am wondering, should I just go for N-Corp Sinclair, because he would get a decent amount of SP back. I guess we can just try it out and see how things go. Otherwise I might just go for a more neutral Sinclair. And then finally for Mur, we'll go with you, and that's... Oh no, we haven't done anything with Yisang yet. Do we have any Yisang that does anything with bleed? I think you do, sort of, but you're more of a passive one, right? On a crit, one ally with the most poise inflicts 2 additional bleed potency with a skill 6 times per turn. Okay, but if nobody has poise, does that mean that this doesn't proc? Let's see. Both of his Svi Sinclair support passes are good. What's your passive like? At the end of the turn, heal 10 SP for one ally with the least SP if they lost SP. Fuck it, I'll just keep you there. Okay, that's what we have. Oh wait, I totally forgot about these two. I don't think Rhodia has any character that has a decent passive, so I should just go for whatever is a strong identity, I'd say. Which, this is clearly my strongest Rhodia identity, so just take you. The ID needs to crit and inflict bleed for the passive to work. It doesn't do anything with no poise, but in MD you have... Yeah, but this isn't for MD. This is for when I'm fighting a boss in the story. If this was just for MD, I genuinely wouldn't care, because there you can literally just put whatever and it would be fine. Alright, let's see. You said LCCB Rhodia or LCB Rhodia. Do you mean LCCB or LCB? I guess that's not a bad one. Yeah, screw it though, I'm just gonna go for view. Alright. I don't really have too many decent Otis identities as well, I noticed. Fuck it, you're ineffective against that and you're decent, so we'll just take you. Well, not a good bleed team. A lot of them don't even have bleed. Oh, you mean that? God, this just feels really ragtag. I don't think I have enough decent bleed identities for this to actually work. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess technically 7. I would technically have 7 bleed identities. Also, I really wish I had more. I really wish I had more. Bonello with the most HP randomly gained. Okay, that's actually not a bad one. We'll take that. That's actually good. Okay, so we would have 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's just that I'm a little worried because I would have to put a decent amount of actual resources in building this team, and this just feels like nothing, right? At that point, I could just, I don't know, make a charge team or something. At least I have a decent amount of charge identities, and it would cost me a lot less resources to spruce that one up. Well, we'll at least use this one for the mirror dungeon right now. And then just see how everything goes. See, I only have charge IDs with Dawn anyway. Well, you could run 6 IDs, have Rodion on slot 1, start combat with defense skills and never rolling in minus coin kit. That's true. And with Rodion getting the extra slot, she can easily rack up her swords so she can hit harder. Yeah, it's just, I'm a little disappointed that that I'm so limited in team building, you know? It just feels that I'm a little bit stuck with the same team constantly, because yeah, I could use this for mirror dungeon and it should be fine, but that's about it. Yeah, it'd be what it'd be. It's just disappointing for me. Alright, let's give this one a go. Guess we'll do this in. I really wish there was a way to get more identities quickly, but it's a gacha game, so that would be a bit counterproductive, unfortunately. I'm not adverse to farming, I'm just not willing to spend more than an hour a day farming, which I feel is extremely I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just unwilling to farm less, like more than an hour a day. This is a game. It's not a job. I get that for some, that is fine, but I have other things I also want to do, you know? If you really think about it, if we're gonna be generous with how long it takes me to clear a mirror dungeon, it takes about an hour. And I get, after I'm done with the season pass, I would get 3 boxes out of that, which on average, I would gain 2, not 2, I would gain 6 shards from that. That means if I want to get a identity to max efficiency, I would need to do a mirror dungeon about about 70-ish times from what about 70-ish times for me to actually be able to get one identity to a decent level. That's still a lot. That is a lot. Uh, 5, 6, 7. I guess we'll just do this. Then we'll have you as the passive. Oop. Yeah, this should work out. I am over complaining to Limbus Company about that because it is just how it is, and I feel like it would be unfair of me to say, hey Limbus Company, I want this to be exactly like Library of Runa, because then I would enjoy the game more. This is a gacha game and they do need to make money, and it's already pretty darn generous that they even allow you to farm for units instead of it purely being luck. And it's not even like they're gonna force me to be good at game to be able to continue experiencing the story, because they're gonna implement a system where you can basically just buy your way into beating the game using sanity, which is alright. As long as they don't make it so that you have to pay 5,000 sanity per revive, I think it would really solve a lot of the issues this game has. It does make me feel limited in how I can play though, and that's not wrong, I'd say. That's just how things are. Oh, I didn't even pay attention. Don't even know what kind of gift I'm gonna get. I was not paying attention. A lot of this is just automatic for me. Remember, you being the type of identity that needs to be in the minus, so I haven't really played with N-Corp Sinclair ever, so I'm not really sure how they work. I know they can do a crap ton of damage if you set them up right, but that's about it. Let's see, how does this work? Okay, so he does just lose SP every time he uses a skill. And that's how he's supposed to be losing SP, I'm guessing? Okay. Okay, that heals SP. So he does have a heal SP in his kit. That's not bad. Do I have too much SP healing with both Faust, Yi-Sang, and middle little brother Mersault? I might just have too much SP healing. TLDR for N-Corp Sinclair is to make sure you manage his SP decline. Clashing helps mitigate the loss, because he can technically corrode if he's doing too much one-sided. Yeah, I think I'm fine. From what I'm seeing... Oh, well, that's not ideal. From what I'm seeing, I have enough SP recovery that I don't have to worry too much about it, and at worst I can just use his defensive skill. Maybe I can focus on a single damage type that I'll just support that way. That might be a way that I can make a team. But I don't know if there are many ways to support a single damage type with identities. Most of them focus on a single status ailment, or some, and I mean some, focus on a resonance. I think there's only, what, 1 or 2 teams that actually focus on resonance, and that is the middle and Purcut, I don't remember the name, but it's the people from Ishmael Scanto. Do you happen to have his pending day ego? The Maya calendar one is pretty cheap and helps him drop his SP back down to neutral if he becomes too happy. Ah, I do have that one. I think I got that from a battle pass. So yeah, I should have every ego that you get from a not the battle pass, that you get free from the battle pass. So not if you pay for it, but if you get it for free. Okay, we have a lot of slashing ego. That's only to the 5th identity though. That's not really helpful. That's not really helpful. That's also not really helpful. Yeah, maybe I should just focus on something beside the status ailment, because I might just not have the team to build it. Or Bleed was the wrong team to focus on. I just thought that Kurakumo Clan Ishmael was cool, so I wanted to build a team around her, but I just don't have the units for it right now. I don't think I have it equipped on St. Clair right now. No, but I do have it. Yeah, this should be fine. I'm honestly surprised that he's still winning. He should not be getting good skill rolls here. If I'm gonna think about the identities that I have a lot of egos from, then it's either gonna have to be Tremor or Sync. I do have a couple of decent Sync identities. Or at worst, I guess I could just go back to my charge team and try to maximize that. It would take a lot less fragments for me to maximize my charge team. I would only need maybe 1 or 2 more identities and then an ego. 1 or 2 more egos. That would be a lot more realistic to get in the time frame that I needed. And then maybe for next season I can try and save some frag crates so that I can actually get a different team going. That might just be for the best. It's a darn shame, but in the end it is what it is. Well, any ideas for my charge team then? Any identities that you would recommend? Or any egos? I know that Otis has an ego that's pretty good. That I should probably get. Now this, I forgot this is a human battle. I really do wish that I had more Blood Fiends, because Manager Dawn is really cool. Look at those animations, absolutely beautiful. But they can't really use her at full potential. I just didn't really get lucky with the gacha when it came to Blood Fiends. Also, that was around the time that I burnt out, so after a while I was just like, fuck it, I'm just not doing this. Personally, I always include multi-crack Heathcliff into my charge team. Once at U4, he inflicts a status that lets charged units get more charge by hitting the affected target. That may be a good... Well, I usually also actually add multi-crack Heathcliff to my charge. I was just thinking something like multi-crack Faust could be useful. She does feed fluid sac decently well. Aside from that, I don't really think there are many charge IDs that I don't have at the moment. Even the unique charge ones, like the latest Walpurgis Nacht IDs, I do have, even though I wouldn't call Rodia's Night of Midnight or whatever it's called a charge ID. She's more of a sync with charge. Well, I don't have multi-crack Faust, so I would have to buy her, which I should be able to. As long as it stays within the range of 2 or 3 egos, not 2 or 3 egos, 2 or 3 things to buy from the shop, I should be fine. But outside of that, it would be a bit unrealistic for me to get enough shards together to do it. That's why the bleed team wouldn't work, because it's just unrealistic for me to actually get enough resources to make a proper team. And with the charge team, from what I remember, I would only need to buy multi-crack Faust and maybe 1 or 2 egos. The one problem with a charge team is that I really don't like the Hung Lu that I get to use with a charge team, but I do have to have Hung Lu in my lineup, so not really sure whom I should replace, which Hung Lu I should replace that Hung Lu with. Preferably one that still fits the charge team, but I don't think Hung Lu has any other charge-esque IDs. I could look it up actually, see if there's any charge Hung Lu's running around. Warp Hung Lu ain't so bad if he's running with the rest of the warp crew. Yeah, but he's weak to slash, so that's not really the best, and he's just not that good overall. It just seems like a waste with all the buffs that Hung Lu gets in that fight to run Warp Hung Lu, you know? Seems to me like I should make more use out of it. Fair enough. Oh, I do really like this app now. It just looks so good with the gold and the reds. Just amazing. We'll just do the battle. This is still a pretty low floor, so we should absolutely be fine. Honestly, I might just have to go with the charge team, yeah. It wouldn't be realistic to do anything else. Hopefully Project Moon will ease up on the charge just a little bit, so that I can build up a different team. They haven't really done much with charge. Oh wait, they are 100% gonna give you more charge IDs in the warp train one, right? Or just another blood fiend. We did talk about the fact that they're gonna have Cassetti be an ID more than like. Nothing has been confirmed, but it would be disappointing to me if we didn't get a Cassetti ID. And what else could we use, could we make into a new ID for Warp Train? Yeah, but what charge ID are... I guess they could just add more W Corp. Or maybe a multi-crack one, yeah, that could also be a thing. I'd personally prefer a Cassetti ID, because I think Cassetti is a fun character. But I could see it just being a charge one. I'm trying to think who has... There are a lot of W IDs, so I'm not really sure whom whom they would give a W ID to. I know Ishmael doesn't have a W ID yet, so maybe it's gonna be Ishmael. Which character hasn't gotten any ID recently? That's the question here. That is the question that I am asking. As much as people hate on Chef Gregor, I do really like his bind and paralyze. It's just really fun. Well, Borbdon's story did say Rodion. She could be another warp ID down the line. Yeah, but didn't Rodion already get a couple identities recently? Especially, she technically did get a charge, quote-unquote, identity in Walpurgis Nos, so wouldn't it be a little weird if she got a new identity already? Yeah, but they have been fairly good at giving all sinners a even amount of IDs. Yeah, some sinners get more, but it's not like you have some sinners that have 10 IDs and other sinners that have 30. It's usually still in the range of 2 or 3 IDs from each other at most. I don't think there has ever been a case where one sinner had more than 5 IDs than another sinner, right? Okay, so we know Otis has... Okay, so if we go down here, Yisang has a warp ID, Faust has a warp ID, Dawn has a warp ID, Ryushi has a warp ID, Mersalt has a warp ID, Honglu has a warp ID, Heathcliff doesn't have one, Ishmael doesn't have one, Rodia doesn't have one, St. Clair doesn't have one, Otis doesn't have one, and Gregor doesn't have one. So maybe Heathcliff, he hasn't gotten a new ID in a while, right? I don't think, maybe? I don't think it's gonna be anybody that's gotten a new ID in the last 2-ish banners, so it's not gonna be any of those. I don't think I have many sloth skills, so that's not gonna work. I don't really need to... Wait, do I have piercing? Yes, Dawn has piercing. Don't really think I have anything that I want to fuse just yet, so... Just do a Oh, fuck! There was a bleed one. Didn't see it. That's on me. That's on me. That is on me. Sometimes I just do not pay attention. Oh. I might actually want to switch out St. Clair here, because he doesn't have too much bleed, and that effect on the ego gift would be a little bit wasted on him. So let's switch this out real quick. We'll put Ishmael number 1, Don number 2. Who's my next best bleeder? Either Heathcliff or Faust. Let's go with Faust, then Heathcliff, then St. Clair, then Kurakumo, Honglu, then Greggy, and then we'll just do whatever. Hey, whatever happened with that Project Moon concert that they were gonna do? Did it actually happen? If so, I hope they have it on YouTube somewhere, otherwise I'm never ever gonna see it. Oh, I do not like that neutral. Okay, we have 2 neutrals, and also I'm surprised that Gregor is a neutral. Alright. Couldn't win rate this. We first are gonna have to... Yeah, there we go. You are not the best of clashers, friends, so I'm a little worried. Wait, why is that one? Oh. Okay, there we go. For a second there I found it weird that he was unopposed. Oh, nice. If we're lucky, we can get the full effect of Cloud Cutter as well, which would be nice. Let's see, what else can we do? I do remember that Heathcliff's one was a Dominate as well, but I first do want to see... Okay, all of them are just straight up on Heathcliff and Gregor. Popular guy, it seems. Okay, we could get a decent resonance chain here, that's nice. I do think that this team works at least for resonance chains, so I can't complain too much on that. There we go, that's the stuff. Yeah, everything dominant, and we have a good resonance chain going. Damn, am I actually activating all my passives? That's honestly really good. Yeah, maybe this team isn't as bad as I thought it was. At least it's easy to activate all the passes by just getting a lost resonance chain. Oh. You know who I think is gonna become Cassetti? The Cassetti ID? I've thought about it a little bit. And while Sinclair would make the most sense character-wise, because Cassetti was super unstable, and Sinclair is known to be unstable, I'd say that the best choice would be Mersault. I just feel like it would work with Mersault. A little bit similar like how Mersault got the ID for that one fixer that was a streamer. And honestly, I want more good Mersault IDs. Mersault deserves way better IDs. Overall, I think that if we're talking from sinner to sinner, Mersault on average has the worst IDs. If we're talking about his good IDs, then you got Blade Master Mersault or Blade Lineage Mentor Mersault. Which one else? See, I'm already struggling to think of some. Okay, it doesn't really matter who I choose to clash with. Hopeless, jeez. Are you just that strong? I guess at 25, that's actually a little ridiculous. I don't think anything short of a miracle is gonna make me clash evenly with that. Yeah, that's not even close to a 25. That's a 26, so you should be fine. If we're lucky, we'll kill him this turn. Oof. That zero coin power hurts. I think I've gotten a weakness for Chef Gregor. As much as he sucks, I just think he's a funny guy. Even though he's also pretty terrifying if you would meet him in real life. But you can say that about everybody in the city. Good. Would have been a little irritating if he actually survived this turn. Yeah, any good Mersault IDs? I might just be drawing a blank right now. I don't really use Mersault IDs all that much. I do have one for the W core, but W Mersault isn't really that great, even with his Opti 4. Yeah, I really can't think of any decent Mersault idea except for Mentor Mersault. It actually bothers me a little bit. Also, I'll just look at Pritwin real quick because this is actually bothering me. There should be a decent Mersault ID somewhere that isn't Mentor. Okay, let's see. Yeah, no, I think I was definitely right with Mersault having the least strong IDs if you look at it from sinner to sinner. It's not like some of them aren't bad, but I'd say that he only has 3-ish good IDs, and that would be Blade Lineage, Mentor Mersault, Xing Association, West Mersault, and while I haven't seen much from the Tom Mersault, from what I've read of him, he's gonna be pretty darn good. Wait, struggling? Oh yeah, that actually makes sense.
재미는 없겠지만 그렇게 할게요. 떼어내주지.
효율적인 대처로 개체를 꿰뚫었습니다. 참고로 기계는 입에 발린 말 따위 쉽게 하지 않아요.
그간의 전투 경험이 쓸모가 없지 않았군요, 딴테.
이 정도로 나와 건을
그래, 그렇게 시원하게 처리하니 보는 맛이 나는군. 일 처리는 빠르게 하는 편이.
Yeah, see, Sinclair is getting way too much SP. It would be really difficult to get him to actually go negative unless I'm actively losing a battle, which at that point I'm already losing, so having Sinclair actually work properly wouldn't make much of a difference, I'd say. Maybe if I had that one ego, then the Mayan calendar one, like you said, then I could use him better. I am getting a lot of Lost Resonance, so if it only costs Lost Resonance or mostly Lost Resonance, then we should be fine.
관리자님의 전술력과 제 지시만 있다면 그다지 위협적이진 않을 것 같군요.
Yeah, this team comp wouldn't exactly work with a lot of others either. For example, I probably wouldn't want to use this one with either Rhodia's newest ID or Dawn's newest ID, because you do also want them actively to be in the negative if you can. I do actually like those two IDs, they're fun to use. I say, funnily enough, I did get more joy out of Rhodia's new ID, even though I do prefer Don Quixote's ID, because come on, it's the Queen of Hatred. She is basically one of my favorite abnormalities from Limbus Company, and her Opti story is just really fun. I'm not one to read a lot of Opti stories, which I do want to work on because I genuinely know that they're good. It's just that I'm too lazy, and whenever I Opti stuff, I'm more focused on just Optiing them. But some of the Opti stories are genuinely fun. No, I just realized, but wouldn't it make more sense for Sinclair or N Corp Sinclair to have slash damage. He has a halberd, right? So that would definitely be a slash. I always used to choose the option to have Croak to talk to the frog, because I thought it would be funny to have Faust be croaking like that. The slash might be useful, but it's not in the right slot, and I don't feel like changing things up. No. I think it would be fun if there was some sort of way to implement ego gifts in even just the story sections of the game. You do have them to some extent when you go into a dungeon in the story, but even that is fairly rare and limited, right? How many egos do you usually get when you go into a story dungeon? Not that many. I should still... Oh yeah, I have the tier 3 tremor ego there. There we go. Please actually be a bleed ego. I have had it happen too many times where it was a 90% chance to get something and then I didn't freaking get it and I felt awful. What does this actually do? Usually I don't even pay attention to what gifts do, but here I really should. Against enemies, allies inflict X2 bleed potency with skill effect. Turn end, enemies with bleed or unique bleed lose 2 speed next turn. Okay, that's not bad. That is not bad at all. And we're powering it up because I really like being faster than my enemies. One more. 20% chance to get the cost refunded when refreshing a shop. Honestly, I'll take it. That's not bad. And we'll take this too, because just free damage shops are always nice.
얼간이들이 흥겨워하는군. 대체로 저럴 때는 이유가 있는 법입니다. 이유를 잡아.
Should I just let Sinclair lose? Probably not, right? Okay, you're attacking Ishmael, so we can just... If you attack that one, and then... Oh, hold up. I think I am getting a phone call. Alright, so I have to go for a little bit because my mom is standing at my door. I will be right back.
재미는 없겠지만 그렇게 할게요.
개인 줄도 몰랐네.
붉에서 적에게 치명상을 입혔군요. 관리자님은 당신이 생각하는 것보다 대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
뭐야? 이거 멈췄나? 설마 아무런 지휘도 안 하고 가만히 있는 겁니까, 단테?
Alright, I am the back. My mom needed my help with something, so I could not just ignore it. Where's the hopeless one? There we go. I'm not really sure if we're actually gonna have any chance of that not being hopeless, so... Wait. Don't realistically think that there's gonna be a better one than Fluid Sack. Yeah, no, I just misclicked a bunch. Okay, hold up. Do we have any ego that mainly uses lust? Yes, we do. You. Wait, why is this one still struggling? Oh, fuck me. Okay. Dang. Dang, dang, dang. Any ego that mainly uses lust? No. Guess this would have to do. Also, I am really not using Sinclair well here. He just has too much SP consistently. But that's something that you get when you are going for mirror dungeons that are fairly weak. One thing that I have realized from this composition is that surprisingly middle Mersault's passive is actually pretty good. It's really easy to activate, especially if you have the right team comp, and that extra SP is absolutely great. Might be worth putting him in instead of normal W Mersault. I don't know what kind of passive W Mersault has, but might be worth it. I don't really care about getting those affinities. Well, let's just do this. Burning, oh, that's kind of garbage. Well, actually, technically, Sinclair uses burn, so it's not entirely garbage. Gain a keywordless ego, gain a rupture ego. We do not need rupture, sir, therefore we will be going for the keywordless. Sun shower. Okay, seriously, I am really fucking up with Sinclair. He is just not working out because my team comp is not made for him to work out. Seems a bit unfair to him. Then I might want to switch him out for someone else. I think that Tremor Sinclair, the one from the SWI office, actually had a decent passive just for everybody, and it activated with Lust Resonance, which would be actually pretty decent in this team, so could be worth it. Sorry, Sinclair. You might not be my favorite sinner, but I don't want to hurt you like this. It's a little weird, but I genuinely think that Sinclair isn't my favorite sinner, mainly because a lot of people like Sinclair and I'm just a contrarian. I don't dislike Sinclair though, I really like how he's growing up and also his relationship with other sinners, especially Ryushi. I just get that sort of impressionable child and wine-aunt vibe from those two, and I'm absolutely for it.
재미는 없겠지만 그렇게 할게요.
기다리겠습니다. 기계는 언제나
I hadn't expected it, but Ryushi and Sinclair do get paired up a lot. And I don't mean paired up as in shipping them, I just mean in the story they get paired up a lot. From what I can tell, some sinners do have a preferred pair they usually have. Some of them don't, but some of them do. It's a little bit like Heathcliff and Ishmael, Rhodia and Gregor. I suppose Faust and Yi Sang, but that's mainly them just talking to each other about science. I think those are it. The ones that you have left are Otis and Mersalt and Dawn. Am I forgetting someone? I already said Gregor, right? Yeah, I said Gregor. I already said Rhodia. I already said Sinclair. I already said Ishmael. I already said Heathcliff. Oh, Honglu. Honglu. So, Otis, Honglu, Mersalt, and Dawn don't get paired with another sinner as much, but maybe you could say that Dawn and Mersalt get paired up sometimes, but that's mainly because of fan art, so I don't really count that. And that fan art is mainly because it's just cute to see a small gremlin and a mountain of a man interact with each other.
지금은 성공했지만 앞으로
One more reason to give Mersalt the Blood Fiend identity, because it would be absolutely great. I don't think I have many Pride or Gloom skills, so this might fuck me over. Oh no, I'm fine. I'm fine. The Kurakumo coming to the rescue.
명령하시는 건 다 따른다고요.
Don't have any charge. Don't really think I'm gonna have enough combat encounters for that to be worth it. I do have Pierce, so on hit winning a clash with Pierce, that's actually really good. I don't have many Pierce ones, but this is still worth it, I'd say. And I am gonna just enchant some of my gifts, so I don't really need more. Not enough. I could sell some gifts, but let's first see if I can fuse some. Burn, poise, and I don't seem to have a third gift that has a status ailment effect that I do not care about. So we'll have to wait. Yeah, we'll just wait. It's not really super important anyway. Wonder if we're ever gonna get Roland identity. A Roland and an Angela identity would be pretty great, but also fairly hard to make. I don't think it would be as hard for Roland, because you can just give him the Black Silence animations. Maybe make him a Poise ID. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe you can have it switch up with what weapons he uses. Maybe you can give him something like Poise or a special Poise, where the more Poise he has, it will change what weapons he uses. So let's say he starts with his normal sword that he has before he gets the gloves, and then as he gains more and more Poise, he'll get different skills, which will be the representations of different weapons, and he'll build up to one fuck all skill that's really good and does a shit ton of damage when you crit. Something like that. That would be amazing.
나가서 싸워. 뒤는 내가 봐주지.
But with Angela it's gonna be a bit more difficult. Angela doesn't just have one thing she does. I suppose you could use the black feathered dress version of Angela, but what kind of fighting style does she have? The only time that Angela actually fights is in the final battle, and then I don't think she has a key page that is just hers. It's the same reason why you couldn't realistically make IDs for any of the other librarians except for Binna and Gebera, because they at least have a defined fighting style. But what would you do for Yesod's fighting style, right? He's not actually a fighter. The only time he fights is when he uses those pages. That's really cool. Maybe you can base it off some of the boss battles from Angela, the final one. But that seems more of a ego ability. Which with Roland that would also be really cool, because let's be honest, Roland's final ego forms, well, ego forms, disorders forms are amazing, so that would 100% be amazing. Sinclair hasn't... There we go. Yeah, I can't really remember Angela fighting outright. It isn't that she's weak, because she almost killed Roland the first time they met. But there's just nothing that screams at me, oh, this can be Angela's identity's gimmick. With Gebra, for Gebra, it's, I would say, just straight up getting coin power with speed. Gebra in Library of Runa was just a really simple identity that went off hard and hit hard, and it was really fun to use, and I want them to keep that with Gebra. The Red Mist needs to feel overwhelming to use. And with Binna, Bind might be the best bet there, because she did break skill slots, but you can't really do that in this game, because I'm trying to think of a reason. I guess technically you could do it, but then you're just shutting down an entire character, which seems like it would... actually, I'm thinking about it as a boss here with Binha, but as an identity that the Sinners used, it could maybe work, where you actually just break one of the slots the bosses can use if it hits. That might be an interesting mechanic. It wouldn't be overpowered, because the bosses usually have something like 6 or 7 slots, so that would be fine. And in normal encounters, breaking a slot, yeah, it might make the enemy not be able to do anything, but... that isn't really a big deal for just normal encounters, right? Okay, I could see Gebra actually being a real... not Gebra, Binna being a really fun identity to play with. Technically, we do have a sort of Gebra identity, though. Because we have Ryushi's Spider one, which is based off of Gebra. When she goes all crazy in Lobotomy Corporation, they use the same weapons. But that's not really a Red Mist identity, though, is it? This actually makes me want to play a little bit of Library of Runa again. It's actually been in the back of my mind that I might want to go and play Library of Runa again. Mainly because I want to experience the story, but also just with my new knowledge to see if I actually do better. Library of Runa had a fucking great story, though. That's just... beautiful. Also, yeah, I might. I don't really have any game I'm specifically playing outside of streaming right now. I have a bunch of games I want to stream, but not a bunch of games that I'm playing off of stream. Don't really think it matters which one we choose, so... I don't want to choose this one because a bunch of these fire abnos are really annoying. Especially the butterfly. I do not want to fight the butterfly. We'll just go to a certain world. I don't remember where that is from, but I'm sure that the final boss shouldn't be too bad. One thing that I would also really want is a Shao identity. I really love the gimmick where when you get into the distorted form, not distorted but the ego gear, that you get a bunch of different pages that are just so fun to use. That's the one thing that Shao's identity succeeds so hard at, and I fucking love it. Wait, Tremor? Oh, you're a Tremor, okay. That's one of the things that I do look at when it comes to good games. If it feels fun for the player to do. That's something a lot of people overlook whenever they decide if a game is good or not, where they don't really think, okay, is it actually something that feels good to play? And some games really succeed at that. Something like Warframe, just moving around and flipping and everything, it just feels fun already. And a lot of games that try to not copy Warframe do that wrong. I know Helldivers is a game that a lot of people enjoy, but the biggest problem I personally had with it was that I didn't feel it was fun to move around in. It wasn't that the gameplay was bad or anything like that, but I just personally didn't find it fun to move around in, and that was a pretty big minus for me. Who's Sinclair clashing against? No. No. It can be a bit of a mess sometimes. There we go. Okay, you're clashing with you. Eve, can you take the heat? There we go.
재미는 없겠지만 그렇게 할게요.
I think that Limbus company has gotten better at making IDs better feeling. Just with the animations getting better and the sound design. If you compare some of the older anime identities with something like Manager Dawn, it just feels night and day. And you can't have every identity be Manager Dawn, because then it just wouldn't be special and then it would all just be over the top. But just having one really satisfying skill animation is enough for something like that. That's what I think, at least. How much HP does this guy have left? Only one. Okay, we do not need this many people attacking him. Okay, everybody that's not clashing with someone is attacking you. Whoa, that's a little bit... Oh my god, that's a little bit overkill, ain't it? Just a little bit overkill right there. I really hope we get a Kelsif announcer in the Arknight event. It just popped into my head, where I was like, that's one of the things I really want. I would have ideally wanted a Kelsif identity, but that's not something we're gonna get. I do think an ego based off of Kelsif's monster might be really cool. Because could you imagine just monster popping out and wrecking shit, shooting laser beams everywhere? It would be absolutely beautiful. But I shouldn't get too many expectations for this event, otherwise I'm just gonna be disappointed. I am fully prepared with Project Moon not picking any of the operators that I would want to be picked. I'd rather they pick operators that they would want in the game than operators that I would want in the game, because I always think a game, or anything really, goes downhill the moment they listen too much to their audience. Project Moon has been good so far at having a nice balance where they do listen to the audience, but they can also just say, yeah, we don't agree with you, so screw off. Nice.
생체 반응이 끊어진 개체의 기록이 감지됩니다. 만약 제가 인간이었고 조금 더 쾌활한 성격이었다면 당신과 하이파이브 같은 걸 시도해 보았을지도 모르겠네요.
놈 나와.
Oh, we're already on floor 5. I didn't even realize. Sometimes I just get in a sort of zen state whenever I'm playing this. I always get this event on floor 5 if I go to one of these event nodes. I don't really know why they do it, because you only get 50 cost. Maybe there's some sort of really low chance to get something amazing. I've heard that they added some new rank 5 gifts or something. Ooh, that's not ideal. I would like to keep this. Oh shit, I can't actually. Ah, that sucks. But y'all should be able to take it, right? It's fine. You'll be fine, baby. Probably not. I want the resonance though. Oh, you guys have high freaking coins. Stop that. I do not respect you having higher coin amounts than I. Damn oofy. Thinking they're all so smart when in their outfits, even though they're technically not even oofy. Okay, no staggers yet on the two that are losing their coin clashes, which I am happy about. I'm a little afraid of that, and Mr. Baseball Bat did a good work. Alright, that wasn't that bad. Yeah, I'm sure we'll be fine. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Not like there's much I can do in human battles.
대단한 능력을 갖추고 있다고 제가 늘 말씀드렸죠. 저는 언제나 옳은 말만 한답니다.
Absolutely beautiful.
직원들이 긍정적인 환경에
Oh, there are five more enemies. That's a little insane. I do think again I can't do anything in human battles. I keep thinking this is an Abno battle, and then I realize, oh no, the chain is there, so there's really no point in me caring about anything that's happening here. I'm just gonna win rate. Even in tough human battles, it just feels to me like there's no point in doing anything else. Are you actually gonna win? Okay. I would have been genuinely surprised. You are actually winning this clash. Okay. I did not expect him to win that clash. Ah, yes. The gripping. One of the reasons I keep using NVOUT is because of the gaze. It's a really good debuff.
개체에게 일격을 가하는데 성공했습니다.
재미는 없겠지만
샴페인을 가져오기
그렇게 할게요.
너무 이른 타이밍이긴 하겠지만 이 전투가 성공적으로 끝나면 모두의 희생을 기리며 축배를 드는 것도 나쁘지 않겠죠.
Gain a sync ego gift depending on the result of the following choice. I really don't give a shit about sync ego, so it doesn't really matter. Alright, we should be able to fuse at least one more thing. Alright, Let's see. Sink, get the hell out of here. I thought oh, didn't I? Oh, there we go, a burn ego. I did not think. I did realize that I had one more burn ego. Then we'll enchant whatever we have. And let's refresh 1 or 2 more times to see if we can get something slightly better. No, this is fine. Okay, that's fine. Oh wait, I haven't upgraded you fully yet. Alright, well that'll do. I'll just do 1 more of these. And I can't get anything else. Alright, this is fine. It's not the end of the world. I suppose I can heal my sinners. Doesn't really change anything, but... Alright, let's do this thing.
어떤 조직 놈들인지 면면 좀 받을까?
Oh, hey Kuro. Sorry I didn't see you there for a second. That Dawn plus Rodia new ID was good. I'd say that the Rodia one is really good. Like, crazy good. I genuinely think it's a good one. Is the Dawn one good? I'd say that the Dawn one is... It's good. It's good. But it's not as good as the Rodian one. I'd say that the Rodian one is genuinely one of the best sync IDs so far. Not Wild Hunt Heathcliff level of scary, but it's still really fucking good. And Dawn... She's a good charge ID. She has some good clashing when you have it on negative, but that's about it. That is my opinion on those. The Dawn ID does become a lot better with her ego as well. That is absolutely the truth. It's a decent heal, not as good as I would like, and overall it works well if you have a decent... I don't know what the purple sin was again. So unless you know it... Lust? Was the purple one Lust? I don't fucking remember. But yeah, so overall decent one. Can I actually kill you? I don't think so. But we came close, which is nice. And we got you on Paralyze, so that's nice. I do love myself on Paralyze. Absolutely love myself on Paralyze. We should kill her this turn, so you might have come a little bit late on this stream, Kuro. Oh, I actually got decent time on this mirror dungeon. That's neat. That's nice. Usually it takes me at least 15 minutes longer to finish the mirror dungeon. Maybe this bleed team isn't as bad after all. Why did I only get 70? I really don't get how they calculate this. Yeah, wherever, it doesn't really matter anyway. And we're almost to 100. I might get 100 if the pass is kind to me. No, we do not. I need to get one. I guess if I do everything, which, yeah, then I'll definitely get that. Okay, I should have enough to do at least one lookfation thingy. Right? Yeah. Oh, this is for XP. Okay, never mind. I guess I can just do one so that I can get those pass levels. That should be fine. Usually I focus more on the threat one because that's just straight up better. I don't think we are actually gonna get our use the bleed team because they are not leveled up, so we would be absolutely fucked. Let's see. I can actually check out all of these identities to see what their their passives be like. I am going to the bathroom real quick though, so I'll be right back. Alright, let's see. What kind of passive do you have? One ally with the low speed inflicts 1 rupture. That's not really that great. Not really that great. Might be worth putting someone else on that slot. As much as I do like... actually, that would still work because they count as the same faction as well. So never mind, that's fine. Wait, does this passive only work when they're on the field? The ally with the least SP heals 10 SP at the turn end if there's another ally from the same faction. But is that only on the field or not? That's the question. Let's see, what's your passive like? When an ally with the lowest max HP hits the head coin, they inflict sing count. When inflicting tremor count on yeah, okay, that's not really a great one for a charge team. Is there anything I can do to have a decent passive? I don't know which ones have good passives. One ally with the least HP and less than 50 HP of max HP. That's not bad, I suppose. One ally with the least HP gains +2 counter skill final power. That's not super useful for my warp team. I don't think we have many counter users. Most of them are dodgers or defenders. LCCB usually has a decent passive. Yeah, but we don't really have much of this resonance. Ideally, it would either be Gloom or the purple one. When one ally with the fast speed attacks the target with sync, deal... Yeah, well, we're not gonna have sync, do we? Alright. When one ally with the fastest speed triggers tremor bursts... Yeah, well, that's also not happening. Don't think I have many good Ishmael passives here. At that point, it's just better to... Yeah, at that point it's just better to take the one that's the strongest. One ally with the highest charge count deals more damage against targets with rupture based on rupture on target. Blah blah blah. Okay. Not really sure if you gel well with my other charge units, but we'll see. Yeah, whatever. For now, we're just gonna see how things work out. I haven't used my charge team in a little bit. In just a little bit. Okay, we'll grab these two because they're technically charged, even though you're more sync. Guess if maybe I should just go with full charge team for now and then go from there. No, I would like to change my one to W Dawn. Thank you, I appreciate it. Alrighty then. Actually, I haven't read your skills in forever. At +5 charge gain coin power. Oh, you do actually inflict rupture. Okay. Huh. Okay. Inflict fragile. Spend 10 charge count to gain 4 coin power. At less than 10 charge count, lose 20 HP. Inflict rupture. Okay. And what your passes be like? One ally with fast speed gains 1. Okay. For their first skill. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad at all. And then we have you. Gain 1 charge every time this unit consumes 10 cumulative charge count in this encounter. Turn end, apply 1 clash power up next turn to charge W Corp employees, including this unit in reverse deployment order. Okay. Max 5 allies. One ally who has the most charge count at turn starts deals 10 more damage, while with skill that consumes 7 charge. Okay, yeah, that's just straight up a good deal. And it will be in reverse order, will it? Okay, okay. Upon defeating an enemy, gain charge. When an ally with the lowest max HP defeats an enemy, they gain +3 charge. Okay, that's not that great for boss fights, and that's what I'm focusing on. But overall, Ryushi is still a good identity, so can't really blame it too much. Let's see what else can we do. First deployed ally, max charge count +5. When conditions are met, this effect will remain active until the start of the next turn. Okay. What does that mean? Just that that ally can have more charge? That's good, I guess. Turn end at 2+ charge, gain 1 haste. Turn end at 3+ charge, gain 1 additional haste. And okay, that's really good. Okay, okay, that's fine. I feel like your passive ain't that great, right? One ally with the lowest max HP gains 1 charge count. That's not bad. It is not bad. Alright, for now we'll pick... With Otis in the team, we do want to get our strongest identities last in the turn order. So we'll do this. Then Faust. We need 7, right? Is it 7 or 6? I don't remember. I do not remember.
마침내 각 정리요원은 위치로. 곧 열차 정리가 시작된다.
복지팀의 협조가 필요한
Okay, okay, yeah, we need 7, okay. Guess we can just have Rhodia on there. She is gonna be better than the other charge identities that I still have left.
청소 준비 완료.
다들 연장 챙기죠.
흔들어 보죠. 형님과 누님들.
Alright, that should do.
이게 옳은 선택일까?
I know that I really didn't have to put that much thought into it, but still good to think about it and re-familiarize myself with identities that I've been using for so long that I've stopped caring that much, which not that great. Oof, oof, that's not great. Neutral, not great. We can just defend with you so that we can immediately get to the good shit. And that's about all we can do.
눈에 새겨주지.
Would have preferred these guys being an Apno battle, but I get that that's already something you do with the other grindy node. I don't really know what to call it. I always forget what the name is of that one, but it's threat, right? Ooh, minus 35. Alright, now we get to the good shit. I haven't gotten any sanity though, but we should be fine because we're not using any purple yet. Yeah, see, that's the problem with not Hong Lu-Ji Sang's passives and everything. He doesn't really gel well with the other W Corp employees because he's the only one with the green one. I think it was Gluttony. I think that's the green one's called Gluttony. I might want to find a replacement for Hong Lu. Maybe not Hong Lu. I keep misremembering the name of Hong Lu and Yi Sang. I did that the first time I played Limbus Company, and now it's just stuck in my brain like that. Hey, no staggers on my part. That's genuinely surprising. Ooh, I'm at 40 though. That's a little scary. Really hope that you don't. Oof. Not as much as I would have liked, but with how my sanity is, that was to be expected.
공간을 뭉갠다.
I wonder if there's a good Ji Sang identity that I could use. One that has a decent passive for my charge team. Honestly, anything that either gives SP or increases my average coin power would be good. What the fuck? Oh, okay, it was just my upstairs neighbor being weird. Sometimes out of nowhere I'll just hear a shit ton of noise from his apartment, and I have no idea what it is, but it's been happening ever since I moved in. Luckily, it doesn't happen at 4 in the morning anymore. I actually had a problem with that, but it still is a little weird. Maybe he's building something. I hear a drill from time to time. You gotta hope that that is building something, because what else can you do with a drill, right? Not much good. Yeah, if I'm gonna go with my charge team, I'll have to see which ones are better against slashing so that I can use them. Maybe see if I can get some more charge identities that are good. At least for Otis. I know that Otis has one charge identity that's has a passive that makes things a lot better. Just really quickly checking stuff. Okay, nah, this is fine. Oof, come on, Heathcliff! Ooh, you might get staggered. Ooh, you barely, and I mean absolutely barely, did not get staggered. I don't know why my sanity is so low with these guys right now. It feels like it's unusually low so far. No, Don, don't die! Yeah, we're fine, unless there's another round, but I don't think there is, so we should be fine. Come on, you can do this, Heath, I believe. Okay, never mind, but you did your best. Cool animations. Look at that, that's amazing. So cool.
예전보다 많이 나아진 것 같다. 나도. 그러고 보니까 그
I don't have enough to do any threat, which I do. Oh, there are only 4 hours left. Shit. Will I get enough? So I'm guessing that you'll get one, whatever this is, every 5 minutes. I have 4 hours left, so oof, that is 12 per hour, so that's about, it's about 48, so I would not have enough. Well, actually I would have enough for one. Actually 2. I would have enough for 2. We'll just see. I don't have to do it immediately, and at worst I can just use one of these boxes. I have a couple. Yeah, so Yi saying ain't working out too much. Do we have any identity that just has a good passive for anything? Close is probably the normal Yi saying, because he'll give you more. He'll give you more SP. Aside from that, we might want to switch you up. You're a good identity, but you don't really fit in the charge team that well. Do we have any other charge? That's kind of the question, isn't it? Is it? Suppose we can just have a check and see if there, see all our charge identities. All. Then we'll go with charge. Charge. There we go. These are all our charge identities. Okay, we're already using most of our W Corp. Really wish we could also use Udon, but if I'm gonna use that Mersault passive, unless I also am using Rhodia, I don't think that's gonna be super useful. I guess technically I could also use the Ryushi, that's from the same faction, but I'm not sure if she's better than W Corp Ryushi. I've heard that she's pretty good though. Decent animations as well. Which, I think you had a decent passive, right? Well, now with the low speed, inflicts 1 rupture plus rupture to targets with tremor. No, that is a tremor passive, true and true. And I don't care about the Mersault one, because I 100% will be using a different one. Okay, well, seems like I'm already basically using all my charge identities, so we will either have to find more of them or figure something else out. If the warp train one is coming, I might wait until that one is there, until I spend all my fragments to see if that the identity that's coming out is decent with charge. Aside from that, I don't think that these ones have a lot of charge. In the last couple of seasons there were not many charge identities. Most of these are Sync, most of the 5th season are Blood, and most of the 6th season are Rupture. Suppose this one is. This one is Charge. I'm not really sure if it's really all that good. I guess technically a lot of the W Corp ones are also Rupture. So maybe I could also look for Sinners that have decent Rupture passives. Maybe make a hybrid Charge Rupture team. Might work. No, I've never really checked Rose Banner to see what her deal is. I know that she's a hybrid charge Rupture identity, but when one element with slow speed triggers Tremor Burst, increases dagger threshold. No, that's not that great. That is not a great. Yeah, I'm not really seeing anything major. The only one that I really would want is, surprisingly, these two. Dimensional Shredder and Multi-Crack Office Faust. These two are the two the only two that I really need for my complete charge team. Hey, she does have loss, so that's useful for us. Alright, well, I think I'm just gonna call it a day here. I don't think there's much else for me to do on Limbus Company, at least for a couple of hours until some of my energy refunds, not refunds, whatever, English is hard. I'll talk to you later. Kuro, sorry, I guess that I didn't immediately respond. It seems like I missed you, and I always do feel bad about that, but these things happen. Alright, thanks for watching. See you later. Yada yada yada.